Welcome in, come take a seat. Got a story, got a dream, let's talk about it. Every voice has something to say. Every heart has a different way. Through the laughter and the tears, we're sharing moments, hopes and fears. Real conversations, real life stories, finding strength in every journey. Dear Emily, we're here tonight, bringing every story into the light. Dear Emily, come join the conversation. It's finding hearts across the nation. Oh, dear Emily, oh, let's talk about it. Oh, dear Emily, everybody's got a story. So pull up a chair, let's begin. Where every voice matters, every story wins. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome in, come take a seat. Got a story, got a dream, let's talk about it. Every voice has something to say. Every heart has a different way. Through the laughter and the tears, we're sharing moments, hopes and fears. Real conversations, real life stories, finding strength in every journey. Dear Emily, we're here tonight, bringing every story into the light. Dear Emily, come join the conversation. It's finding hearts across the nation. Oh, dear Emily, oh, let's talk about it. Oh, dear Emily, everybody's got a story. So pull up a chair, let's begin. Where every voice matters, every story wins.
Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Dear Emily Show. It's your girl, Emily Faith Martin. I'm so excited to be here tonight, this evening. We're going to have a really great conversation. You all are on my page. You've seen like the topic, what we're going to be talking about, and the amazing guest that we have with us, and I'm just really excited. Okay, I don't want to waste any time because we're going to really have a good time tonight. I want you all, if you're watching, just let me know you're watching. I will give you a shout out. Remember, you can put your questions in, and we will get to the questions at the end of the show. But please put in your questions, your comments as the conversation is going. Stay engaged throughout the conversation so we know that Ms. Yolanda did not just take up her time, but we are also actively engaged throughout the conversation. All right, we're going to get started. But before we get started, we have an amazing guest with us, someone that is not even, I'm privileged to be on this show tonight because she is a big deal. She's a big deal in the community. So I am going to let her introduce herself, this evening on the show, and then we will get started. We'll go into our icebreaker. All right, Miss Yolanda, welcome to Dear Emily Show.
Thank you for having me, Emily. I'm excited to be here with you tonight.
You're so welcome. Okay, like I told the audience, I'm not going to introduce you. I think I will not do justice, so you introduce yourself. Tell us about Miss Yolanda Pearson.
Yeah, so my name is Yolanda Pearson. I am the president and CEO of the Minnesota Black Chamber of Commerce. I have been in that role since January this year. Prior to that, I spent the last 25 years in corporate at various corporations. Most recently, I led sourcing for Anderson Corporation. And so I am excited to be leading the Black Chamber right now. I'm a wife, a mom. I have 2 sons. One is 23 and one is 14. My oldest is in Europe right now. He's in the Air Force, and my youngest is entering high school. And so it's just an exciting time to be leading the chamber, to be focused on Black entrepreneurs throughout the state. And so we are really reimagining what the chamber looks like. And so I'm excited to be at the spearhead of this new initiative as we reimagine what the Black Chamber looks like.
Thank you. See, I told you I was going to butcher that introduction if I was going to do it. So I'm so glad that you did that. I'm so glad to have you on the show this evening. It's really a big deal. And you wear so many hats.
Yes.
So I don't know how you do it all, but we're going to get into it. Thank you so much again for being with us. We're going to jump into an icebreaker. Are you ready for the icebreaker?
I'm ready, yes.
Okay. So I'm also using my cards, okay, so that you all don't think it's anything else on there. It's just the question. So, all right, so the icebreaker question is, if someone who has never met Yolanda Pearson asked your family to describe you in 3 words, what do you think they would say, and would you agree with them?
I would really agree with them. It's funny. My cousins and I, we took a girls' trip a couple years ago, and we were picking names, like, which cousin are you? And so they were like, oh, you're the bossy cousin. And I'm like, I don't want to be the bossy cousin. And everybody was like, oh, you're definitely the bossy cousin. So I would say definitely they would say I was bossy. I think I've been bossing a lot of my cousins around since we were kids. I'm probably still bossing them around today. I would say I was dependable. And then they would also say that I am this, a couple of them feel like I am an overachiever. I've grown to be okay with that. Mm-hmm. I think I am a person that likes to start and finish what I start. And so I think it fits me well. I joined Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, one of the greatest sororities. And my line name is Business Ready. And so I think it really speaks to just who I am. And so I think those are things that encompasses, just who I am and how I show up. And, I've learned to embrace those things.
I like that. And I think they all, kind of correlate with each other.
They do, yeah.
Okay, boss lady. All right. So thank you for answering that. And then we're going to go into the questions because I want us to have enough time to soak in all the wisdom that you have for us on this show.
I hope I have enough wisdom for you. Yeah.
Oh, you do. I'm learning already. So, all right. So let's do the first question.
Okay.
The first question is: many people see your success today, but they don't see the sacrifices behind it. What were some of the biggest challenges you had to overcome to become the woman and leader you are today?
I would say the first huge thing in my life is really God. I would say, putting God first. I think people may not know that, right off the back. I don't think I'm super religious, but I am spiritual. But I think the foundation that I have, I grew up going to church with my grandmother. I went to Third Baptist Church of Chicago most of my youth and until I moved here to the Twin Cities. And so I think that's been one of the greatest things in my life is, faith. My grandmother always would say, people don't have what you have. Be grateful for what you have. Share your blessings. And so those are things that I've kind of been rooted in principle. And so that's been one of the biggest guiding lights. And then also just really working hard. I think people like the end result. They don't like the middle. the messy middle. And so I think you got to process through all of it. And so you got to be really determined to finish what you start. You think about college, you think about the commitments you make at work. Are you a person that the team can rely on? Do you get the work done, or do you look for excuses? And so those are things that I've really prided myself in, really being a person that gets the work done. Even now in this role, I'm really making sure that I don't get too comfortable too fast in this role, that I'm always learning and growing. And so I think those are things that people take for, just for face value, I would say, because people think, oh, you got this big role, but with a big role comes big responsibilities and the work. You have to really put in the work. And so I think if your listeners are listening, especially young people, I always tell people, as I mentor them, is that, don't compare my year 26 or 27 to your 1 year. Run your race. Stay where you are. Take the path, because I think if you get something too fast, maybe you won't enjoy it as much without the sacrifices. And so that's one of the things that I think you have to take where you are now and be grateful for it. I think God blesses you when you show grace and gratefulness in the position you have now. If you want to steward something big, you gotta steward the small first.
Yeah. I'm taking that in, because that's true. That's honestly true. And so with you being the president, and I know you started this year of the Black Chambers of Challenge of Commerce.
That's a good word, though.
Black Chambers of Challenge. No, the Black Chambers of Commerce. I know, stepping into the role, it comes with a lot of big responsibilities, like you've stated, right? What is one challenge that you've had to overcome so far, being the president, and what is something that kept you going to not want to give up and to keep pushing?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is not talking myself out of what I know and what I know to be true. And so when I think about what's worked throughout my corporate career, it may be very different in nonprofit and in entrepreneurship. And so what's been kind of that double-edged sword is that some of the rigidness that happens within a corporation is needed in nonprofit. And so with the pushback, I'm, learning to trust myself and push forward. That these are the things that will help us to grow, succeed, and then develop, greater relationships, greater economic impact. And so staying true to that. And then I think on the other side, it's been really great to see the entrepreneurs want that. When I think about my members are like, nope, stay corporate, bring the rigidness, bring the programming, help push us. And so that's been a really good feeling to watch businesses want to improve. We launched our 10,000 Black Business program last week. And it's been so wonderful, because this is something that the Chamber has been trying to do for the last couple years. And now, we've manifested it in 5.5 months. And we got our first cohort. And just the experience of, what people have, the feedback so far has just been really wonderful. And it's been great to be, hear from other business owners that this is what they need. And, they're showing up for their business, and we're building.
Okay. That's really good. So for people who are watching and they're thinking about going into business, or they do have a business, a Black-owned business, how can they be a part of that 10,000
Black business?
Black business.
Yeah, so our 10,000 Black Business is powered by Huntington Bank. So they're our anchor partner, and they have been supporting this program for the last couple years. And so one of the things that I tell people is come and join us. So if you go to our website, minnesotablackchamber.org, click join. There's a small joining fee per year. It's $150 a year. And you will see that investment within a month or two already manifest itself. We have networking opportunities. We have micro grants. We have training cohorts. And our 10,000 Black Business has 3 phases. It has launch, scale, and grow. And so the program is really meant to help you either start your business, continue succeeding in your business, and then grow in your business. And then we have programs for those who have already succeeded in business. They've been in business more than 5 years. They have revenue over $1 million. We have our CEO roundtables. And so those are kind of small groups that's meant to be a peer-to-peer. So for you to talk to Fortune 500 CEOs and have opportunity to network with them and learn from someone who's running a big business. And so those are ways that people can join. And so our membership fee is, small. Our sponsorships help us keep it small. And so this is a program that's open to everyone. It's focused on the Black entrepreneur, but it's open and inclusive to all entrepreneurs. Any small business can take advantage of these.
Okay. All right, if you're watching now, take advantage. So go to the blackchambersofcommerce.org.
Nope, it's Minnesota Black Chamber.
Minnesota Black Chambers.
.org.
If you're watching, please take note of that and visit that website. It's only $150. It's worth the investment.
Yeah, so it's $150 a year. And then all of the programming is included with your membership.
With your membership. I'm going to sign up.
Yeah, please do.
I am for sure going to sign up. I will for sure be there, be part of it.
Great. Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to take our first break.
Okay.
And then when we get back, I will give a shout out to those of you that are watching online. Thank you so much for watching so far. We're having a great time. So just put it in the comment. If you have your questions, write it down, let me know, and then we will talk about it. We'll get your questions answered. But I will be right back with you all right after this quick break. Thank you for watching with us.
Hey, 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 welcome in, come take a seat. Got a story, got a dream, let's talk about it. Every voice has something to say. Every heart has a different way. Through the laughter and the tears, we're sharing moments, hopes and fears. Real conversations, real life stories, finding strength in every journey. Dear Emily, we're here tonight, bringing every story into the light. Dear Emily, come join the conversation. It's finding hearts across the nation. Oh, dear Emily, oh, let's talk about it. Oh, dear Emily, everybody's got a story. So pull up a chair, let's begin. Where every voice matters, every story wins. Hey, 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 welcome in, come take a seat. Got a story, got a dream, let's talk about it. Every voice has something to say. Every heart has a different way. Through the laughter and the tears, we're sharing moments, hopes and fears. Real conversations, real life stories, finding strength in every journey. Dear Emily, we're here tonight, bringing every story into the light. Dear Emily, come join the conversation. It's finding hearts across the nation. Oh, dear Emily, oh, let's talk about it. Oh, dear Emily, everybody's got a story. So pull up a chair, let's begin. Where every voice matters, every story wins.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Okay, I'm going to give out some shout outs to those of you that are watching online. We have Stephanie Gamble that is watching. Shout out to you. And then we have Mr. Michael Franks. Shout out to you for watching. He was on the show last week, y'all. Mr. Franks was on the show, and we had a really great conversation. So shout out. Thank you for watching. Those of you that are watching, please share the video. Blessing Akinie is watching. Thank you for watching. Share the video. My husband is watching. Thank you for watching. Pastor Judah Martin. Share the video, ask your questions, because we have an amazing, amazing guest with us, Miss Yolanda Pearson. Okay, so we're going to get into the questions. We'll do question number 2. I have a second question for you. Okay, so the title of today's conversation, we know, is like, it includes like career, family life, and all that good stuff. So many women feel like they have to choose one over the other. They have to choose a career, or they have to choose like family life. Have you ever struggled with balancing your career while still showing up for your family? Have you ever had that experience?
Absolutely. So I've been a mom for 23 years now. It seems like crazy. I have a 23-year-old. But I will tell you, I think there's not necessarily a balance. I think it's a pivot. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is because on the pendulum, either you're going to be killing it at work and something is going to drop at home or in other parts of your life. And, you know, I think about, you know, when you think about your girlfriends, your family, your children, my husband, I can't balance it all. Mm-hmm. So something has to falter. And I think it's seasons. Mm-hmm. And so I think you have to pick which season you're in at this moment. Mm-hmm. And so I think when you have small kids, you might have to pick your children because they need more time. They need more resources from you. You also have to mend to your marriage and your husband. And then you also have to think about your career, especially if you want to grow your career. Some people are okay where they are. But for me, I was always very ambitious and wanted to grow my career. And so I've had a huge support system with, you know, I've had other people that I've had to either pay or ask to help me with my children. I had some wonderful babysitters and daycare providers. You know, for a while, I lived next door to a daycare, which was just amazing because I could just go out my door and take the kids take the boys over next door to Cheryl. But those are the things that you have to do as a mom. It's a balancing act. I don't think it's going to be equally balanced on one way or the other, but I think the pendulum, where sometimes you make all the soccer games and you make all the basketball games, and then there's times where you just can't do it, and you have to have clear communication. One of the things that I've done in parenting is that I have always over-communicated with my boys. I've always been like, hey, mom has to work this day. I can't make it. And if I can make it, you know, I'm real clear with them of like, I don't know if I'm going to get there on time or what that looks like. And so there are times where I'm like at work where, hey, I got to go to my kids' games. I can't make that. And so I try to be really open and clear. You know, I've never been one of those people to talk baby talk to little kids or anything. And so I think they're just little people. And I think people underestimate your kids' understanding what you have going on in your life. And so I have been very clear of like, it's a rough day at work. You know, like I just need 5 minutes. Or managing that, even at work. You know, I've been very fortunate to have some good leaders. And, you know, I've been able to say, hey, my kid is struggling right now. I have to focus on home. Or knowing myself when it's time to focus on my marriage. Of like, oh, nope. Can't go to happy hour with my girlfriends, or I can't go and do too many other external things. Especially now in this role, it's so public facing. I have to balance of what's the time for real for my family. I'm still raising a 14-year-old. I still have to mend to my marriage. My mother's aging. I have to take care of her. And so I'm really on this balance and trying to figure out what balance looks like now for me. Because before I had a little more flexibility, but this role has a lot of hats, a lot of community facing. And so I'm faltering some things at home because I'm new in this role. And so now I'm like, okay, 6 months in, what does that look like? Making sure that what's sustainable to really maintain. And so I've decided like Sundays is my day for family. There are a couple things that I might do other than that, but like we're gonna go to church, you know, together. We're gonna take time to have dinner on Sundays and just making sure I'm prioritizing that part of my life. Because I feel like over the last 5 months, it hasn't really been a priority. So it's been totally work. Everything has been dedicated to work. And so moving forward, I'm really trying to figure out what balance looks like in this season. And I tell women, don't think you have to have it all either. Don't think you have to balance it or that you have to juggle it. Ask for help. Ask for help. Also, make sure that you're communicating with your spouse. Early on, when my kids were younger, it was hard because you could grow resentment because you're like, I'm doing everything. And my husband is a truck driver, so he was, working in the truck, so he has a physical job. So he didn't think like, oh, you're working in the office. I don't need to do that. But when I started sharing some of those things, like, can you pick up dinner? He started doing it, but I didn't ask. And so, and you think you have to do everything, but I think as women, we get to pick and choose. Yeah. And maybe the women before us didn't have that luxury. But if you think about what the resources we have now, there's a lot of things that you can do. Stop by Sam's or Costco and pick up a pre-made dinner that you heat up so you don't have to go home, but then you're feeding your kids semi-healthy. Cook a meal that'll last 2 or 3 days, crock pot cooking. Do some of those things that will help you balance all of your responsibilities that you have. And then these kids can do a lot of things for themselves that we do for them. And so, like, now with my 14-year-old, I'm like, you're responsible for your own clothes and some of those things. So that's helping balance, not doing everything for everybody.
It sounds like you have a good balance, like, with stuff going on. And I need tips, because as I get older and, like, into the business world and get busier by the day, I think I need to know how you balance all the hats, or how you pivot, you know. Like you said. So that's really good. So I know you said you overly communicate with your children, which is really important, because I think a lot of people don't do that, especially with the culture that I'm from, within the African community. Parents don't over communicate with their children. It's just one way, But with that, with you taking on this role as the president, of a very big organization, did you have a conversation with your son, who is now 14? I know the 23-year-old's out, in the Air Force in Europe. But, like, did you have a conversation with your son that is now at home to get his support?
Yeah. You know what? This is funny, but it's the truth. I was having a conversation with my son, like, things are going to be different. I'll be gone a lot. And he was just like, okay, Mom, what does that mean? And I had to realize he's not really lived through me going to work every day, or he can't remember it from COVID, pre-COVID. And so a couple of times in the beginning, he was like, you're going to go to the office every day? Because before, I picked and chose, and I would go maybe 2 days a week, maybe 3 days, and now it's different. And so it's funny. My husband interrupted me and said, well, when you come home, you're a wife and a mother first. And so I just looked at him, but he meant it. I knew, I think he saw me kind of massaging it with my son, and then he wanted to be like, hey, nope, we're a priority here at the house. And I even, had to have conversations with my husband that, you are always my priority, but now I have a bigger job and, bigger role and bigger responsibilities. And so how am I, navigating that, I think, is for me to kind of evolve and then help both my husband and my son evolve. But even my 23-year-old who's not home, if he calls me and I don't answer, he's so used to me picking up all the time. And now I might be in a meeting that I can't pick up from, and so it's just some of those things, like, even think about when I was here, that was my son calling this evening, like, where are you? So, it's just kind of the norms that they're used to, and we're creating new norms for us as a family. And I think in these roles, when you are a wife and a mother, your family absorbs these roles with you and these responsibilities so much. And I think that's where the pivoting comes, is that you got to really make sure that you're prepared and that you prepare your children for that. And I think if you, like, one of the things I think that's really benefited us is my kids have never known a time when I didn't work and juggled and managed. And so they have been on the journey with me, especially my oldest. He's been on that journey, his whole life.
Okay. Wow. All right. Now people are going to think, like, I'm not paying it, but I'm soaking everything in, because this is, like I said, it's a big deal. You wear many hats, and you are the president of a really big growing organization in Minnesota that supports community businesses, Black-owned businesses. So with that, with you supporting and then having a balance or pivot with your family life, how do you give back, like, to the community? And you giving back, why is that important in your role to be able to give back to the community?
Yeah, you know, this has been one of the most fulfilling times. Even though it's a lot of work, it puts me in community. And so one of the things that I realized probably a year or two ago, I thrive in community. I live in Blaine. It's not that Black. You know, and when I go to church or when I go, you know, to meetings that, you know, that's all Black people, I am inspired by just the pure nature of resilience that we have within our community. And so I think those are things that's driving me. And so it's so important to me. I grew up, you know, a child of the village. And so that's important that I give back, just how people have sown into me. I think one of the things now, you know, as I reach this age, I'm really thinking hard about what am I doing to pull the next person behind me back. And so I think sharing things like my experiences is going to be invaluable for someone like you, Emily, who's young, coming up, you're trying to build your career, you're having your family. I think it's so important that we pour into the next generation. And so I think about community. There's all facets of community navigating that we could do as women with each other. And so that's something that I'm super passionate about, is because that's how I grew up.
Thank you for answering that. And thank you also for stepping into this role and knowing that community is important, that you're giving back. And yes, I'm learning from you, and I am for sure going to be a part of the Black Chambers of Commerce.
Yeah, no,
So,
you guys are already members, and so
Yeah,
I'm really,
yeah.
you know, excited by that. I think when it comes to our members, I am so passionate about how do I help you move the needle? How do I help you continuously grow your business? And so I am energized by this work. And so it's not, you know, something that I even think about like, oh, I got to do this. It's really energizing that I get to say every day that I'm doing something for us. And this is the first time in my career that I've been able to do that. I've been able to make small things, make donations, but I get to 100% say that I'm here to help Black entrepreneurs, and that's empowering.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, when I look back over time, I'll be able to look at the growth of some of your businesses and like, oh, look at this, you know?
Yeah.
Because I remember when I did a contract, I used to work at Cummins years ago, and I did a contract with Leah Hargett. She's instrumental in starting the Black Chamber. So she was one of our vendors for JOG and Associates. And I remember I had a project to help her get more business within Cummins. And I remember the first time the revenue hit over $1 million. I was so excited. You would have thought it was my $1 million contract, right? But it was just, I saw this business triple because we put intention behind supporting it on the cellular level. And so I think having that experience multiple times throughout my career, I know how business can grow and what you need to grow and succeed. And so I get to do that every day. So it's just empowering.
Awesome. All right. I don't want to go into another question because we're going to take a break. But when we get back, we'll go over like one or two questions, and then I'll read the comments that you all are posting on Facebook on our page. But we will be right back after this quick break. Thank you all for watching with us.
Hey, 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 hey. Welcome in. Come take a seat. Got a story, got a dream. Let's talk about it. Every voice has something to say. Every heart has a different way. Through the laughter and the tears, we're sharing moments, hopes and fears. Real conversations, real life stories, finding strength let's begin. Where every voice matters, every story wins. Hey, 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 hey. Welcome in, come take a seat. Got a story, got a dream, let's talk about it. Every voice has something to say. Every heart has a different way. Through the laughter and the tears, we're sharing moments, hopes and fears. Real conversations, real life stories, finding strength in every journey. Dear Emily, we're here tonight, bringing every story into the light. Dear Emily, come join the conversation. It's finding hearts across the nation. Oh, dear Emily, oh, let's talk about it. Oh, dear Emily, everybody's got a story. So pull up a chair, let's begin. Where every voice matters, every story wins.
Everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm going to give people some shout outs. Beverly Roberts, thank you for watching. Shout out to you. Share the video. Sarah Dixon, thank you for watching. Share this video. And then I think I saw Lema Campbell that was watching. Thank you for watching and with us. Please make sure you share the video. Okay, I'm just going to read like some of the comments and then we'll go into our question. Sounds good? Okay, Stephanie Gamble says, I like how she's answering all the questions. She technically answered my question. Balance look different in every season or phase of your life.
Yes, it does, yeah.
Awesome, Stephanie. And then Michael Franks, shout out to you, says, I'm really enjoying this episode of the Dear Emily Show. I think this is the best one yet. My question is, so we'll save the question. But shout out, thank you, Mr. Franks. He was on the show last week. And then Stephanie has a question, so we'll go through the question. Precious Peters is watching. Precious, thank you for watching. All the way from Nigeria, so I'm guessing it worked. Aya Freeman, who is my aunt, thank you for watching. Share the video as well. All right, so we're gonna go right back into our conversation because who knows if we're ever gonna get a chance again to have a sit down with the president of the Black Chambers of Commerce. So thank you.
I'll be back, Emily. I'll commit to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my God. All right, thank you so much for being here. And then I have one question that we'll answer questions from online.
Okay.
The question is, so there are many women who are watching today and are trying to build their own business and raise a family, and some of them have aging parents, and somehow they still take care of themselves. So what advice would you give to women who feel overwhelmed by all the roles, all the hats that they're wearing or that they carry? What advice would you give to them?
I'm going to give you advice that I'm not fully following, but I plan to.
Okay.
And if I had done it younger, it would be more of a practice. Mm-hmm. You know how on the airplane they say put your mask on before assisting others? Take time for yourself.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like for you, even if it's just a walk, take time every day for yourself. If it's 10 minutes, if it's a meditation, a prayer, reading the scripture from your Bible, take a moment for yourself out of every day. Mm-hmm. I'm really trying to focus on that myself. I'm not doing a good job, but it's something that I have written in my journal that, did I take a moment for myself today? And so that's one of the things. The second thing is give yourself grace. I think as we age, our parents age, our children age, you know, right now I'm in that same predicament, and I've given myself grace. And, you know, it was hard for me. My mother had a surgery, and I remember like scheduling, telling her when to have it. But I was the person that she needed to depend on. And then I had to tell her, like, hey, let's get some services. Like, there's a lot of services out here that you could qualify for. And she didn't want to do that. And so then it really was one of those things where I'm talking her through it. And then I had to finally tell her, like, hey, I can't do it. You know, my husband can't do it. So what are our options? And, you know, relentlessly, she chose the option of getting some support, and it was the best thing. It didn't stress her, it didn't stress me, and I was telling her, like, people are paid. Some people love to take care of elderly people, and so it worked out, but it was a struggle, and, you know, plenty of conversations, you know, hurt feelings, but I think it's one of those things that I had to force her to do now because I know eventually we'll be there. And so I tell women, you know, things that I wish I could do better or have done or hadn't done. And so I think those are some of the things. But the other thing is that there's no right or wrong way to do life. And we often reflect on what we see from someone else. And I think you can take bits and pieces from that, but build your own. Map out what it looks like for you. Because somebody may be raising 3 kids and they don't care what, you know, about something. Other people might care about different things. And I think I spent too many years caring about small and minute things that wouldn't have mattered a year from now. And so, you know, now I take time before I answer questions to really think about the impact. You know, is this going to matter tomorrow? Is it going to matter next year? Is it going to matter 5 years from now? And just enjoy life. You know, enjoy your kids while they're at that age. Don't rush them to be big. You know, I tell people, you and I were talking, I'm like, little people, little problems. Big people, big problems. And I remember thinking, oh, I can't wait till my kids could do more things for themselves. And then now they have big people problems that cost a lot of money, that cause more mental capacity than physical capacity, but it's a different stressor. And so I think you got to enjoy life where you are today. And I think the better you do that and the more you practice it as your children get older, as your career develops, it'll become a muscle that automatically happens. And so I think that's one of the most important and valuable things that I want women to learn is to take care of yourself, 1. 2, feel as you pour. So make sure you're filling your cup while you're pouring. So what do you need to fill your cup? And then the third and final thing is enjoy life one moment, one day at a time.
Those are good, because I'm taking it, because I know that's me. That's I'm one of those women that would ask that question. So that's really good. And to, like, as you're pouring, like, make sure you're filling your cup. And I think that's really important because a lot of us don't do it. You know, like, you feel like you have to get somewhere. And I remember there was a time where I went to sleep at like 3, 4 a.m. and my husband was already sleeping with the baby. He was like, what are you doing? I said, I'm just thinking. Like, I have so many ideas and I have to write it down. And he said exactly what you said last, like, take everything one day, one moment at a time. When it's time to sleep, like the Lord said, he gives his beloved sleep.
Yes.
When it's time to sleep, you sleep. You're not thinking about ideas and, like, how to move forward, but, like, embrace the time you have. Not saying don't plan, but, like, take it one day at a time. Like, I'm not going to finish everything in one night. I ended up falling asleep with, like, the foam on my face.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we do that too much. And I'm going to tell you, one of the beauties that I'm learning in this season, I have some good pastors. I go to Family Life Center. You know, shout out to Pastor Chris and Pastor Joy. But I'm rethinking the Bible. Oh, my goodness. They're putting a different spin on some of these biblical stories that you've heard or you've read. And, you know, I'm learning to read the verses below the main highlighted verses, right? And so, you know, people will tell you, honor thy mother and thy father, but they don't say, don't provoke your children, parents.
Listen.
And so it's some of those things that, even if you think about, the seeds that you sow, you read on down, it says harvest does not come without work.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I think we've missed in our interpretation of the popular scriptures or some of those things. And so I think, you know, like they say, faith without works is dead. And you have to work hard at whatever it is that you want. You have to sow, you have to seed, you know. And so those are things that's been really important in my life.
Those are good. I'm taking notes. So thank you so much. I want us to go into maybe 1 or 2 questions online, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll get back. So we'll maybe take about like a minute to answer these questions, and then we'll get back and we'll go through them. So Michael Franks asked the question. He says, what is the biggest opportunity and the biggest challenge for the Black Chambers in the years ahead?
Yeah, so I'm going to say our biggest opportunity would be on fundraising. I think we have to find viable ways to fund the Black Chamber. I think if you think about these anti-DEI, you think about the political climate we're in today, the racial targets that are apparent, both corporate and private. I think the biggest challenge for us is funding sources. How do we continuously create funding, whether it's through grant programs or private funding, to sustain and help us grow and help us navigate this statewide expansion that we have. And then I think, you know, challenges, I don't know if there's I think the biggest challenge for us really is on sustaining and maintaining. So we've been around for 23 years, but we're kind of the greatest kept secret. And so are we doing, we've been status quo. And so to grow, you got to change. You got to do something different. And it starts with our mindset. I think we have to create a mindset of growth. And so I think that's hard for some people. If you think about people that may have been at the chamber or been members of the chamber, you know, if you think about some of the things of why you weren't active or why you don't come to our connections or our meetings or participate in the workshop, we got to shift that narrative.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? I think that's the most important thing. Because I think when I think about our members is at the center of everything that we do. And so what do our members really need? What will help engage our members? What will invigorate our members? And then what will help our members get to the commerce? At the end of the day, everybody has a business to maintain growth and revenue and sustain for their families. And so how are we really talking about that commerce piece? And, you know, like we have a gala coming up August 8th, and it's called the Renaissance Reimagined.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah. It's called the Renaissance Reimagined. And one of the thoughts behind that is that the Renaissance era, people have phased it into this Harlem Nights kind of theme, but the era itself was the biggest growth of entrepreneurship for Black Americans.
Oh, wow.
The Great Depression was happening for white Americans, but the business was booming for Black Americans. And that's what we need to create here in Minnesota. This renaissance is like, we're in this renaissance era. So this is our time to really grow and expand. And so that's what I really want us to do and think about when you think about this era of Black business growth. And this is also that era of that renaissance is when we grew our own banks and businesses and cities and schools. How do we get back to that era? And how do we pivot from what we've done the last, 50, 60 years to do something different? And what does that look like? Who benefits from that? And are we benefiting from our own commerce? Are we circulating our dollars within our Black community? Are we building an ecosystem that's partnerships and growth together? Are we collaborating with one another? Are you thinking about a Black business when you think about something that you need at your house, or are you just running to Target and get it, or running to Walmart? And then how are we holding the Walmarts and all these people accountable to our community because of our dollars? And so those are the role that the chamber plays in this commerce ecosystem. And so how are we also advocating for our policies that we need? Are we at the Capitol? Are we looking at both local, state, and federal policies, and how are they impacting our communities? So those are the things that I think are a larger scale. Michael Franks, if just to kind of give you a thoughts of how I'm thinking about this, opportunities, challenges, and then our expansion.
Okay, that was great. Hopefully, Mr. Franks, that your your question was answered. So we are going to take a break. When we take a break, then we will address like one more question, then we'll go over the Dear Emily scenario, so you
Okay.
can help me like dissect that.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for watching, and then we will be right back after this quick break. Thank you.
Hey, 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 welcome in, come take a seat. Got a story, got a dream, let's talk about it. Every voice has something to say. Every heart has a different way. Through the laughter and the tears, we're sharing moments, hopes and fears. Real conversations, real life stories, finding strength in every journey. Dear Emily, we're here tonight, bringing every story into the light. Dear Emily, come join the conversation. It's finding hearts across the nation. Oh, dear Emily, oh, let's talk about it. Oh, dear Emily, everybody's got a story. So pull up a chair, let's begin. Where every voice matters, every story wins. Hey, 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 welcome in, come take a seat. Got a story, got a dream, let's talk about it. Every voice has something to say. Every heart has a different way. Through the laughter and the tears, we're sharing moments, hopes and fears. Real conversations, real life stories, finding strength in every journey. Dear Emily, we're here tonight, bringing every story into the light. Dear Emily, come join the conversation. It's finding hearts across the nation. Oh, dear Emily, oh, let's talk about it. Oh, dear Emily, everybody's got a story. So pull up a chair, let's begin. Where every voice matters, every story wins.
You all, we're back, just like the production team said. Thank you all for watching. We have about 10 minutes left because I do want to be respectful of Miss Yolanda Pearson time. She's a busy woman. So we have a few questions left. So we're going to take about maybe 3 minutes to answer the questions that we have online, and then we'll go into the Dear Emily scenario.
Okay.
Okay. So one of the questions, the biggest question I think that anyone has for the night that are watching is like, what is the Black Chambers of Commerce? So what is it?
Yeah, so we are a member-based organization that supports and advocates for businesses. And so in Minnesota, we have a lot of city chambers or regional chambers. And so we are a statewide chamber, so we support all entrepreneurs throughout the state. We provide advocacy services, we provide policy services, we also provide member services, so services to our members to help them either expand, launch, or grow their business. And we have our 10,000 Black Business Program, we have our 3 Ps program, which are workshops. We also have micro grants, so grants to help you grow your business. We have services around mentoring. We also have certification workshops. And then we do partnerships. So we have partnerships with a lot of the NGOs or non-government agencies throughout the state that advocates for small businesses. And so that's kind of what we do in a nutshell.
Okay. Hopefully, whoever asked that question, that you got your question answered. And for those of you who were wondering, like, what is the Black Chambers of Commerce, the president herself just told you what it is.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that. Are you ready for us to go into the Dear Emily scenario?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so this is the scenario. It says, Dear Emily, I'm a 36-year-old wife and mother of 3. I recently received a promotion at work that I have prayed for over the last 5 years. It came with a significant pay increase, but also longer hours, more responsibility, and frequent travel. At first, I was excited, but lately I've been feeling guilty. My youngest cried last week because I missed another school event, and my husband admitted he feels like we are becoming roommates instead of partners. I want to provide for my family, but also don't want to lose the very people I'm working so hard for, or this job. So my question is, how do I go about this? What do you think I should do?
Yes, I have been in this space before, working and traveling for work. One of the things that I think this is where that over communication with your children comes in at. I think explain just what you explain. I think people underestimate their children not understanding. They might be disappointed, but they would understand. Some people might not like this, but I always brought my kids a gift when I traveled somewhere, just to kind of let them know where I've been. A lot of times, you know, it could be a refrigerator magnet, and you guys can talk about the city or what you did. And then for your husband, prioritize the time that you have. Date night has to be on the calendar. Some type of priority has to be made, even when you're tired. You got to make priority. One of the things that my husband and I always did was we had a show that we would watch, and whether we watched it together or not, we still talked about it. So that gave us stuff to connect about. And when I travel, I always, every night, it didn't matter what, I always called my kids before bedtime, and I always talked to my husband before bedtime. And so sometimes you have to prioritize those things. So if you're having late night dinners with the team, or you're working on your team, excuse yourself and be like, hey, I got to call my kids before they go to bed. And so those are things that I did that really helped, I think, my marriage, and helped my kids stay connected to me when I was gone. And, you know, you're going to have that parent guilt, but in the long run, your kids will only remember the sacrifices that you made for them. They won't remember the missed games. So when you're home, you got to prioritize that. So when you're home, you got to maybe talk to your team at work and say, hey, I'm home. I've been traveling a lot. I got to leave at 3. I got to make the game. You know, be the mom that brings the good snacks, and they'll forget that you missed the game, you know? You know, be the mom that you might have to spend a little extra, but you got the extra money now. And so, you know, maybe after the game, you guys go out for pizza when you're there. So then there are things that they look forward to, and, you know, and you're not buying them, but you're spending extra time. And so, you know, my kids always looked forward to that. And sometimes, depending on what kind of work you're in, you might be able to get trinkets for free that your kids don't know are free, but they think, you know, those little squeegees and different things. Like when I would go to shows, I would bring all kinds of stuff back from, I mean, they thought it was like, oh, this is cool, and they're grabbing some of the items. So those are things you can do. You know, pick up a $2 or $3 magnet for each of them, get them something different, and then you can talk about the different things in that city. Now you can look up things. I mean, just make it a fun thing about mom's traveling today, and, you know, let them see a YouTube video of the travel or the city you're in, to make it a family thing. You can talk over it through dinner, but prioritize some time when you're back home to really incorporate and share with your kids what you've been doing. Even if you're tired. Sometimes I tell my son, I didn't even get to see the city. We worked all day, and they would be like, oh man, that sounds boring. I'm like, it was, you know, just try to have conversations with them. Because I think it's just important in this day and age Technology is everybody's friend and foe. And so use it to your advantage. Look up where mommy is. You know, I'm in Texas or I'm here, and, you know, send them pictures. Like, even with my oldest now, I send him so many pictures of what I'm doing. Like, I'll send him a picture of this and share the video just so he feels included.
Thank you for answering that question. And it is very important, right? Where especially a lot of women nowadays where they feel like they have to choose. We talked about that earlier, between like work and family, but you can have both. You know, you can have both. You just gotta figure out like what works for you and how it works. And I think part of that is like being able to have community of wise women or women who have been there, you know, they've been ahead of you, they're in that position to be able to help guide you, you know, and to hold you accountable to making sure that, yes, career is important, but like prioritizing your family is important. Overly communicating with your children is very important. Having date nights with your husband, you know, or your wife, like it's very, very much important that you can have it all, you know, but you just got to figure out a way to be able to have that balance of things.
Yeah, and if you're killing it at work, they'll let you leave to go to your kid's soccer game.
Yeah.
The world has changed from what it used to be. I think there's some flexibility, but I think you gotta communicate what you need on all spectrums. And I think with a marriage, one of the things my great aunt, and at the time I didn't understand it, but she said everybody wants to get married, nobody wants a husband. And I didn't understand that until like, you know, maybe over the last 10 years where I'm like, oh, am I prioritizing my husband? Where does my husband fit in this? And how am I doing that, you know, a better job at that? Especially as ambition, you know, you get a promotion or you do something. What are you doing to prioritize your marriage? Because your kids won't be there. It'll be the two of you at the end. And what are you doing, you know, in your marriage? And I tell husbands, what are you doing to cultivate your marriage? And so I think if you guys are both putting 100% in, there's no way it'll fail. And I think you gotta prioritize the relationship of husband and wife, not just the marriage. And a lot of people want to be married, and you know, I thank God for some of that old wisdom I got from some of those elders in my family. And so, you know, I tell people all the time, prioritize your real life, what really matters.
Yeah. This is why we got to have you back on the show, because now we don't have time. Like, we ran out of time, but I would like to have you back, and then we can talk more about the marital wisdom that you do have, and then how that has worked for you, how that is working for you. I think a lot of people would really appreciate that, because you really are a boss lady.
Thank you so much.
It's a privilege to have you on the Dear Emily show. Okay, well, just take about like 30 seconds. Do you have any last words for anyone that is watching? Last advice for anyone before we close out? Yeah,
you know, I got to plug the chamber, so please join us at minnesotablackchamber.org. Join today. Membership is $150 a year. You will see the benefits. If you want to see the benefits, that means you also have to do the work. In this ecosystem we're building, everybody plays an integral part, and so you have to do your work to join us. But it's well worth it. It'll be success for your business. So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to us talking again, Emily.
Yeah. No, you're so... I'm like a little kid on here, and I'm really excited. No, thank you so much for joining us. And for all of you that watched, thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing the video. Thank you for posting your questions. My husband is not watching, but he's here, and I got to give him a shout-out. Shout-out to my husband, Judah Martin. Thank you for watching the show. And I will see you next week on screen. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. That was good.
Hey, 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 hey. Welcome in. Come take a seat. Got a story, got a dream. Let's talk about it. Every voice has something to say. Every heart has a different way. Through the laughter let's begin. Where every voice matters, every story wins.